Good morning. I've been thinking a lot about the American way of life and kind of the sort of the life that was promised. So I was born in 1996. I'm 29 years old right now. And I think the American way of life that was in the movies that we saw, people my age and a little bit older growing up, the stories we were told, the way of life that was presented, like what you were going to have, what you were going to live, I think that the American life right now is dead. I think probably 9/11 would be a major catalyst of that. I think a lot of the neglect and abuse of power by the government on both sides, right and left, is responsible for the state that we're in, and that economically it's very hard to get by. Going to college doesn't really mean anything anymore. There's lots of actions that we were told, like, if you do this, this will happen. If you do this, this will happen. You go to college, you get a job, you get a house, you get married, you have kids. And I know so many people who don't own a house. I don't own a home. I can't afford to buy one right now. It's something I'm working towards, but I'm 7 years past when people would start that most of the time back in the day. And it's getting frustrating because there's a lot of people who objectively had it easier, lived in a different time, and that's no shame to them. That's not their responsibility that things were different when they were our age. But I think something I've come to accept recently, and what has actually motivated me to actually be involved in politics on a local level, to actually pay attention to things that are going on, to vote, to be involved, is I likely will not reap the benefits of future America by the time that it matters. Like, I'll probably be 45, 50 before things are different and they change. But I plan to have children, and I refuse for them to grow up in a world that's worse than the one that I'm in right now. Because if things are left unattended, they will continue to spiral and they will get worse. And if you have any degree of love for your fellow man and for your future children, don't tolerate that. Don't let that be the way that this continues to go, because it's neglect and a lack of responsibility that gets us to places like this. You know, when things go well, people tend to take their hands off the wheel and just kind of let it ride because, like, it's going good, I don't need to focus on it, I don't need to worry about it. And those are the times when it matters the most. Like, the clearest analogy I can think of is, you see this all the time in sports, is you see someone they grind for years and years and years, they finally make it to the top, they have access to a lot of better training methods, they have better recovery, they have better nutrition, they have all these things. And then as time goes on, could be age, but a lot of times it could be they just slowly start to fall off until the next person is coming up on their meteoric rise. They have nothing, they're grinding, they're committed, they want it. Because it's hard to stay motivated when you're waking up on silk sheets. And I think that is a lot of what happened. Because this is a very prosperous country. It still is. It's still a much better place to live than anywhere else in the world is. But when you neglect what you have and you don't stay focused and committed to the betterment of what you have and the betterment of the people around you, this is the situation we end up in. So that's something I've recognized for myself recently, and that is it's a little bit of a bitter resignation, but at the same time, it's also one that's hopeful, because I believe in God, and so I believe in the sanctity of my fellow man, and that everyone around me deserves a chance at a better life. And my part in doing that, in pursuing the betterment of my family, of my wife, of when we have children, hopefully, of trying to pursue a country and a world that's better for them, will in turn make it better for the people around me. So I would use that motivation. It's time to be involved, man. It's no longer optional. Neglect, laziness, and apathy and nihilism are just a continuation of this. That's what gets us to this point. When you resign, you just throw your hands up and say, yeah, you know what, it's screwed, we're not going to make it any better. All the people in charge, they have all the power and they're just ruining everything, so I'm just not going to care. Congratulations, you are now part of the problem. It doesn't matter if it's not your fault, it is your responsibility. We're here now, and if you want it to be better, then you have to accept your life being a bit of a sacrifice in making that happen. Otherwise, you're selfish and you're weak. And that is what it is. So I would encourage get involved, figure out what that means. I really don't know what it is yet. I'm gonna be real. I don't understand how politics works at all. I am very ignorant of it. And so that's something that I've neglected in my life for a long time. And so I'm going to endeavor to be more involved, to be more understanding, to figure out how things work, how I can get involved on a local level, to be charitable, and to make a difference. Stay righteous. God bless. Let's get after it.